You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to have 2 to 5 children. Weird can be so many different things. Be different. Who cares? In today's video, we're going to discuss 4 reasons why I feel like it is a-okay to be the weirdo. Not to have to conform to all of the societal standards that are always thrown in our faces with social media, with TV, with everything that is just in your face all the time that tells you that you've got to be in this certain way or else you're not good enough. Being a weirdo is one of the best things that you could possibly figure out, accept, and embrace in your life. Let's talk about it. I am probably one of the weirdest people that you'll ever meet. Weird can be so many different things. It can be, oh my gosh, I think that I look weird. Oh, I think that I sound weird. In my older years, I feel like I've gotten a lot more in touch of my weirdness. Growing up, I was an indoor kid. I was a band nerd. I was a bookworm, where I was extremely sheltered. I don't have any family except for one person that's left. I do have a very, very small friend group. Most of them, we only get together a few times a year because life happens. Everybody else has kids. I do not have children. That is by choice. It just puts me in a weird spot being at 41 years old because everyone has this idea of what you're supposed to be doing at this time. You're supposed to be married. You're supposed to have 2 to 5 children. You're supposed to have a white picket fence house. That is the expectation of what you're supposed to be doing at this time in your life. I don't fit like any of those standards. I am married. I have been married almost 20 years, but everything else in that is not in inverse, makes it to where I am the weird one. There's a lot of other things about me that people would consider very strange, very odd, very like, what in the world is wrong with you? Like, I've never really been like a girly girl per se. I've never been into makeup. I've never been into fashion. I've never been able to go to like a male family member and be like, oh, I just can't do this. I've had to figure it out on my own, and that's how it's been my entire life. Once I broke away from being in that sheltered household, I was able to have some freedom and kind of figure out my path. As I've gotten older, I figured out that there are just some things that are just different about me. I feel like I'm finally ready to really embrace that. There's no need to be ashamed of being weird. Why be bothered with all of this? Oh, I've got to perform to be liked. I've got to perform to be a certain way. I understand that there's different factors that people will think about when it comes to it fully embracing themselves. But at this point in life, past the halfway mark, who cares? Like, really, who really cares? If they do care, they can get out. Got some notes here, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm gonna keep my notes so that this doesn't end up being a 90-minute video. One of the first things that I've really wanted to embrace and wanted to figure out in this thing that we call life, I really want to get my brain to where I feel like that I'm at peace with myself. For the longest time, and this was something that I battled with growing up, is feeling that what I did was never good enough. It was never ever good enough in school. It wasn't good enough for my parents. It wasn't good enough for society. Everything that I do, and this is something that I still battle with even with my sewing business that I'm trying to build, is that the imposter syndrome of never feeling good enough in anything that I do. That is one of the hardest things that I feel like you have to figure out and try to break free from. I know for a fact that the things that I make, the things that I do, the effort that I put into the world is good enough, but there's still times where it creeps back into my brain and I have to do my best to push it out of the way. Once you embrace your weirdness and you can embrace that, hey, you might just be a little bit different, I might as well just go for it because who the hell cares? Once you get to the point to where you can figure out that being a little different is okay, it really just brings kind of your true self into reality. Like you can be who you are, you can be at peace with that true self that you are, and not have to put on a mask and have to hide behind that mask of being to where like I have to act a certain way or else I'm going to get judged or somebody's going to talk about me or I'm not going to be accepted into this. Once you can understand that being different and being a little bit weird is fine, you have no idea how much peace that can bring to your mind. And in today's world and the things that are going on, I think that anything that we can do to take a little bit of stress off of ourselves is something that would be a benefit. Is just having that self peace, that inner peace, and your true self coming into fruition so that you can live life to the fullest and you can do all of the things that you want to do as long as you're not hurting anybody. We don't need to hurt anybody else or hurting ourselves. You do you and be true to yourself. Another reason why I feel like that embracing your inner weirdo and letting it shine and being who you want to be is that you can connect to other weirdos that are out there. I can guarantee you that there are others that are into some of the similar things that you are, that would embrace you if you were to just put yourself out there. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's got to be a social media influencer. I'm not saying that everybody even needs to become a YouTuber or anything like that, because it's not for everybody. But one of the ways that you can express yourself, you can connect with other people, you can do it with blogging, you can do it in different groups. I know there's a lot of groups online that I'm part of, and I am a straight up lurker. Like, I do not post a lot in these groups because that's just not my style. Like, I'd much rather come to a video like this where this is us talking together and connecting versus posting in a Facebook group. Finding those other people out there that you can connect with on a certain level, on a deep level, not just that surface level kind of, hey, how's it going? No, but on a deep connection level where you can combine your thoughts on things and just kind of like vibe with people. Finding your tribe to vibe with. That sounded pretty good. I just came up with that. I'm sure it's probably off of something, but I've never heard that phrase. Find your tribe to vibe with. Yeah, I really like that. Anywho, finding those people out there that you can connect with, you can have that sense of community, because it's tough. It's tough. Life is tough. It is not easy. I guess it's easier for some than others, but for some of us, it is rough, and we are just getting through it and doing our best. Find your people out there, because I know that they're out there. Let me give you an example of a story that I've heard before, and I've heard it said a few different ways, but say that you were on your deathbed and you had somebody that was interviewing you and they asked you what your biggest regret was. One of the things that a lot of people say is that they felt like that they were never able to truly be themselves, be it because of society or be it because they didn't want to make waves. They wanted to just stay in the flow of things. And I get that. I do understand that. It has taken me a very, very long time to really say these things out loud. I want to wear this rainbow shirt. I'm going to do it. If I want to wear these rainbow bracelets, if I want to make a bunch of rainbow stuff, then I can do it. Yeah, it's different than the beiginess of the world, but it's okay because that's me. Just being able to say that is huge. So not living with the regret of feeling that you were never able to fully be you. In the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of the universe, our time on earth is extremely small. You really just want to, I don't know. I feel like that why waste time worrying about these things that don't matter in the end? Like, why be bothered with this stuff? Just be yourself, just be real. And again, that's something that I'm constantly working on every single day of my life. And the last thing, the most important thing that I feel like is something to remember when you're feeling like that you don't want to show your true self is just remembering that none of us get out of this alive. I mean, and I don't mean that to sound morbid. I'm not trying to bring down the mood or anything like that. But in the end, when it all comes down to it, is remembering that who you are now, you can impact somebody's life in a way that you never thought that you would. I'll give you an example. For about 5 or 6 years, I was a Twitch streamer on and off. I started out doing jigsaw puzzles. The whole reason I even knew that the platform existed was a friend of mine told me about it years ago when she played video games. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's for gamers. That's not for anybody else. And she's like, oh, it's cool. You know, you meet people from all over the world and things like that. So I started it just on a whim, no audience, nobody knew me. I streamed, I had a schedule at one. As I was streaming, she was right. I met people from all over the world. I had somebody come into my chat. She said something, she was from the Czech Republic. She said something to the effect of, oh, you're doing a jigsaw puzzle. And I was like, yeah, I love them. I've been doing them my entire life. I just love it. So fast forward a little bit down the line, she messaged me and she said, hey, I just want to let you know that you gave me the courage to start streaming myself. And I remember seeing her first stream where she streamed a jigsaw puzzle. And I went in there and I hyped her up and I was like, this is awesome. I never would have imagined that I would make a connection like that with somebody just simply for being the weirdo that was doing jigsaw puzzles on Twitch. I'll never forget that because like to this day, like we're still buddies on Instagram. That is something, like I said, I will never forget, is that I inspired one person. It just takes one person for you to resonate with and to hit with. That is like, hey, you're doing something cool because you're doing something different. You're doing something that's weird, that resonated enough to give them the courage to do something for them. And I don't know. I just thought that was such a cool story. And again, it's something I'll never forget. So in the grand scheme of things, be weird, be different. Who cares? I just really wanted to put this video out there. It's something I've been thinking about for a very, very long time to do. What's something that you consider weird about yourself? Something that you want to be more comfortable with? Put it down in the comments. I would love to hear your story. If you made it this far in the video, I really, really appreciate you listening. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more. I will see you next time. Bye.